always make it so withdrawal, but you never make deposits. So now I finally lost it. I regained my pride and my soul is on the line. You are the essence of stressing inside. Living so reckless, you mess with my mind. Gotta deliver for my time. I'm changing the format. Had to get some clarity in mind before that. Rock solid soul never folds. Check. Heart full of holes and I can't control that. So how could you hurt me? Mischievous, real, burn me.
Check.
There we go. Flame, bro, fry me up in the same. Oh, I die every minute that the clock ticks. You wanted everybody that you talk with. I see
hey.
Baby girl,
my blood is on your hands. My soul can't get no peace. I know that you don't care. It was just a fantasy. You said we roll forever. That wasn't meant to be. You said we ride.
Alright, let me just fix this real quick.
My blood is on your hands. My soul can't get no peace. I know that you don't care. It was just a fantasy. You said we roll forever. That wasn't meant to be. You slowly watched me die. It was just a fantasy. It was just a fantasy.
You said we work forever. If I just hold the prize. You said we die together. That's just a load of lies. Now how can I recover
Alright,
from such a daily lover who had her hooks in me? Ever since we met each other, got me feeling like I never find a replacement. Driving me insane until I'm banging the pavement. Scared of the reality, I'm hating to face it. Love was a lie, why I'm about to chase it.
I get that feeling got me steadily pacing. Try to substitute another, but the feeling is basic. Got nowhere to go, where am I to run? How am I to hop? And all I know is that it's driving me crazy. Guess love ain't stronger than fear. I guess that's why I'm resentful. Yo ass supposed to be here. So let's make
1, 2. Chicka. 1, 2.
They don't know. Sometimes I'm begging to die, but my blood is on your hands. My soul can't get no peace. I know that you don't care. It was just a fan.
All right, we will try that once again. What's up, everybody? Welcome to ToxicHustle. My name is TrajicK Jeffrey, and this is the second time I'm doing this because I had no sound. Shout out. I forgot who it was. Sorry. I was trying to fix everything, but shout out to you for telling me that the audio was out. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to start this from the start. Start this from the beginning, Batman. Let me just make sure everything's working. I can see my mic. All right. I have announced it in the chat. All right. And I'm going to reset back to the beginning, Batman. All right. So I was looking at the markets. Let me get everything back up that I closed because I thought I was done with certain things, but I was not, evidently. All right. Let's go here. Let's open this. And let's go back here. All right. What's up, everybody? Again, welcome to ToxicHustle. Welcome to ToxicThoughts. My name is TrajicK Jeffrey. This is where I dump my brain on the internet, hoping that something I say helps you and yours, helps you get through whatever this crazy crap we're dealing with in this economy. And that leads us to the guy that sits on my screen right here, Mr. Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. All right. So as long as this person right here is bringing, is tightening, quote unquote tightening, because they're not. As long as they're tightening up things financially or quantitative tightening, where they're not buying assets, because we got to understand that they are printing money and they are buying, quote unquote, mortgage-backed security and asset-backed security. I don't care what they say. They're buying assets. They're buying Apple. So with that, we have to look. I have to look at, all right, where we are. Where are my customers at? What are they thinking? What are they dealing with? How can I be of service? Because in this craziness, you know, you've got to get in where you fit in. So that being said, let's deal with the market, right? Again, since we're at the back end of the Bitcoin halving cycle, when it comes to crypto, y'all, you're going to learn real fast. It's going to be boring. This is crypto winter. Winter don't stop yet. You don't even get back into this game until next spring. I just like to keep bringing these things up because, hell, I like to make sure that the seasons of Bitcoin still play out the way they need to. This one here, this dip that was supposed to happen didn't really happen, but we've been fluctuating. But this dip here, this dip and this dip are significant, especially since they're right around the time of people going back to school, people needing to pay for extra things for going back to school. People sell assets, y'all. People sell assets to buy things. People sell assets because they have to. And we're going to get into a situation where people are going to have to sell assets again. Bitcoin is not gold. We may want it to be, but it's being treated on the market like the NASDAQ. And as long as we understand it's being treated like a tech stock, then we understand that there's cycles. We had a great run. Bitcoin did well. If you listened to me and you got out in December/January, congratulations. If you stayed the hell out, well done. It gets boring. This gets extremely boring. So don't worry about crypto, because crypto ain't going to do nothing right now. They're going to watch it continue to go down. There are 2 major dips, y'all. 2. And they're consistent. The December dip and the January dip and the November dip. November and January dips. They are the most significant. You saw it back here. Here you go, right here. Just so you can see. You just went through it. You've been in crypto in the last year. You just saw what happened in November. How did that feel? It sucked. Then there's a January dip. And this, we were supposed to have a run up. Why didn't we have the run up? Nobody had the cash flow in their bank accounts. There was no more stimulus checks. No stimmies for Timmy. How do we know this? How do we know that stimmies and Timmy were in play? Hold on. I've got to go back and get the personal savings rate. And then we zoom in to around 2007, 2008, for the great financial crisis type beats. There we go. Hold on. Boom. Right there. And let's just zoom in right here. Now, 2007, 2008. We're at 5.1. If you look, 7.3, 6.3, 7.9. It was at a flat 3 and 2, and then spiked and then crashed. And then we've been above the margins for now. But if you zoom in even tighter into what's going on right here, and you look what's happened, April, May, and June, there's your bank accounts. This is according to the Federal Reserve. Our personal savings rate is in decline. So if there's no money in your bank account, where is the money coming from to potentially have a rally, a real rally? Hey, we're back in a bull run rally. No, there ain't no way we're back in a bull run, because every business I'm talking to is talking about the fact that they are not in a marketing cycle right now. They're cycling out of marketing. They're cycling into dealing with potentially laying off people. Right? So let's check that. That's what I was doing before. LAYOFFS. Layoffs. Tech companies chop. Oh, no. And plus, let's go to tools. Let's make sure it's in the last week, because we don't want no old information. We only want to deal with what we're dealing with right now. What's going on right now? Why is this important? Because everything I tell you when we're dealing with the technology of low code, no code, when we're going to deal with why I despise the hell out of WordPress with this love-hate relationship. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. And then why I hate it, like, especially when you're dealing with your economy, what kind of jobs can you get? Like, everything has been reliant upon tech for me. And right now we're in a transition of tech where robots will make money, not people. Only the people that are programming the robots will make money, but they're not going to make a job out of it. They're going to turn it into an industry. How do you do that? Well, if I'm doing marketing for multiple companies, and I'm automating their marketing process and I'm automating their social media, and they don't need a social media marketer that they're paying $50,000 a year to do it, who wins? Now, if I can take on 10 clients and they pay X amount, let's say $500 a month. You see, you see? Now all of a sudden, they lower their cost basis. They still get some visibility. And as they're making their cutbacks, because they're going to be they're laying off people. Look, right here in this New York Post, half of the U.S. companies are gearing up for layoffs. Go down the street, drive down to your Taco Bell, look around at where all the other stores there, and look and say to you and just understand that half of every company you're looking at is thinking about cutting. Where are those people going to go? We ain't even got back the jobs we lost with Hachu, Pikachu, Omarion, right? We ain't even gotten them back. So if we understand that everything is getting, like, where we're going, where this economy is going basically to the shitter, then we have to pivot and do the only thing that an economy is supposed to do. An economy is supposed to generate something, create something. It's supposed to have a product and or service. This economy just wants to trade and trade and trade and trade and trade. What up, RTP? Right? If you look at Nancy Pelosi and her husband, right? Trade. Make these deals that they're doing, like this Green New Deal, $740 billion, and their inflation, what is it called? What's this bullshit called now? Inflation bill. A damn inflation bill, but it's the Green Deal. Yeah, see? Inflation bill's green benefits. Because it's the Green New Deal that they basically rejected last year. They just brought it back and called it something else. And then they hired 87,000 new IRS agents. So they can come chasing after small businesses and anybody with these PPP loans, I'm pretty sure. Right? So we're already dealing with half the companies getting ready to lay off. We've got this inflation bill that is going to put more money in the economy. I don't think they understand that if you create new money and we put no energy in creating no products and or services, you're saying that I'm going to print more money. And then in the future, these companies over here that are creating more chips are going to generate more economy for people who have no computers. You're going to make what? Solar panels cheaper for homes that people can't afford. Right. That's why, hey, I get their deal. I get it. They even given up on the carbon credits, y'all. That's funny to me. They're about to give up on the carbon credits because they're going another direction. They're going a whole left field with this ish. And they're mining out of control because they know there's nothing, like there's no thing a person can do right now. And I'm going to go back in time and I want y'all to see where the hell most of this comes from. All right. So now let's deal with what's going on in the world, right? I want to close this out now because I don't want to deal with finances and the layoffs. I really want to deal with this lying flat situation and quiet quitting. So last year, April 2021, in China, our brothers from another mother, like there is no other, got tired of the bullish and decided they just want to stop with the BS. They're like, I'm not going to do nothing because it's like, it basically is protest in China and it's a rejection of all the pressures of the overwork. They have a 996 working hour system, which is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. You think we work crazy? That's crazy. Imagine going to work 9 to 9 and then That's 6 days a week. That's insane. So, and then they say there's it's a rat race, and it has diminishing returns. There's no returns. The only person that benefits is the managers. And I can show you that when we get into like my story, because my thing is that where people talking about quiet quitting and all that, like it's something new. No. I'm going to show you that when I was working at Citibank Private Bank, my manager that hired me was already quiet quitting. One of the reasons I think he got laid off. But let's start with how I got started and my mind state in general. When I was in the military, as I've told y'all, my staff sergeant told me to buy Microsoft at $5 a share, and I didn't listen to him. Why this is important is I missed the changing of the analog revolution. I didn't understand. I said, Staff Sergeant, only nerds are going to have computers. And then the one nerd in my platoon got in my barracks got a PC. And I said, see, Staff Sergeant, I told you only nerds are going to get computers and want to play games. And he was telling me, no, something's coming. This computer stuff's going to change everything. And I kind of saw it because, I mean, we were working on the base and we were using Excel to do inventory, to do things in the barracks. Like all of this stuff was being taken care of by Office, but by Excel and I think Access Database. So databases. Everyone having a database, every business or having a computer made you a business because you had a database or a systemic way of creating a company or working your company. You can create forms and reports and do all this stuff that you would have to pay hundreds of people to do on paper. You now had a digital way to pass that everywhere. You could make a database in one location and have all the barracks and all these buildings or all these office spaces talk to one database, giving you a competitive edge. You could now get any place that you could plug a computer in and get AOL to and become a business. And you could write it off. So all of this came with what my staff sergeant was telling me to buy Microsoft, but what I didn't understand was all of that. I didn't understand the revolution coming behind the tech. This is why when I'm going through tech, I want to, and how I'm trying to explain it to y'all, I try to explain it to y'all because I want y'all to kind of see where my mind state's at. This way, when you start seeing these shifts in technology, you pick up on it and you can ride these waves. Because the only thing that justified my salary through every major collapse of my grown-ass life, which was when I became an adult, we had that 2000.com shit. Right? But before that even happened, before that swing up, I'm a security guard. I'm out of the military. I'm a security guard at Caldors. And I was in the receiving area, which was in New York. That's cold as mother stuff, right? So I'm putting on like these jackets and nobody wanted to be down there. But what I would do is they had a little radio, or I can bring my Walkman with me, right? Keep it in my pocket. And I could listen to audiobooks. Now, since I had built my own computer and I'd put a CD burner in it because I was, making my music and, storing my files and all that stuff on DVDs and CDs, I would have these audiobooks and I would have these, or not even audiobooks, I'd have ebooks, which are PDFs and basically MP3s, right? Because this thing called Amazon was selling books. And then there was these other places that people talked through the book. And you would buy these talk through books. Now we call them audiobooks. But it'd just be somebody that got the book, read the book, and then you'd be able to listen to that. So while I'm downstairs in the receiving area, I learned how to build a computer by just reading one of those builder PC Bibles. I was learning HTML in the receiving area. I was learning Photoshop in the receiving area. Just reading these books. I could spend hours reading them because, nobody, like I said, nobody wants to be down there. They'll just relieve me. I go to lunch, I sit in the cafeteria and I'd finish reading my book. Go back downstairs and keep reading my book. Then go home and put into practice everything that I learned. So if I was building a machine, what am I now doing when I build the machine? If I'm looking at Photoshop and learning all the things in Photoshop, when I come back, am I working in Photoshop faster from the shortcuts I've learned, right? From the keystrokes I've learned, from where windows are to do this or do that. So these things are the basis of how I began cultivating my resume to get out of a receiving area, to use Excel to get myself into this place called Music Factory, which in the back of the Source magazine and Double XL they used to sell the DJ equipment. Started doing that. Then one of the guys there was using Photoshop and this thing called Quark Express to be able to do layouts. I had looked at resumes, or excuse me, I had looked online and looked at job sites. And what you do is you reverse engineer a job site. You go to the job site, you look at the technical skills or the software. I just pivoted. I was like, let me just look for everywhere dealing with Photoshop, right? And then because I looked at it from a software perspective, I could now go look for job titles that had the software. So what you do first is not look for a job title like our parents told us, oh, be this person, this person, this person, because in our generation, those titles don't mean jack because they pivot. You might be a marketer over here. You might be a content manager over here. You might be a social media manager over there. You might be a influencer over here now that you're doing it yourself. So those titles can change. Your skill set or the software you use may or may not change depending on whether or not the company stays afloat or not. But working out of that receiving area and then getting into working with that hip hop equipment company, and then being able to move from there, because what I did was I pivoted my talent. I was hired only to do their spreadsheets, right? So to be able to do the accounting stuff as far as set up spreadsheets, take in orders, make sure orders are fixed and all that shit. And then I wasn't having to do any calls. I just was working on that. Now, because he knew, and I was showing the guy that was working with Quark, he knew I knew Photoshop. Well, when my time was down and I had gotten all my work done, he would ask me to do other things, like do this graphic, do that graphic. Then I'd take those graphics I do for him, they were in my portfolio. Once I left that job, I took that portfolio with extra things that I'd done online by myself, and I got a job at a duplication company, padding out my portfolio even further, while I was still doing stuff outside that company to pad up my portfolio with my private clients. And then started doing websites, and then started padding out my portfolio with website prototypes. The software that changed was me realizing I needed not only to know Photoshop, but all the other Adobe packages. And one in particular was Dreamweaver. Why? Because Dreamweaver had this little technology on the back end that would allow you to be able to code in multiple dynamic languages, such as, I think it was ASP. I think they did JSP, which is Java server. And then they had PHP later down the line. But it was like ASP and JSP first. And then PHP came down the line. But I was flipping between those during this time. And right around this time, that's when the .com bubble was beginning to pop. And I ended up going to getting a job with Dreamweaver. The only reason I learned about Dreamweaver in the first place, because I saw there was a job. I didn't see who I was going to be working for, but they were looking for somebody that had HTML and all that stuff. I did. And then they said, well, you're going to have to know Dreamweaver. And since I knew Adobe, I just knew I'd have to learn the shortcuts. So that weekend, I learned the shortcuts, And then when I got to the office, he would ask me questions and I just pop the shortcuts. Like, oh, I just do this, do this, do this. And he's like, oh, how did you do that? And I was like, oh, I use the shortcuts. So I didn't click through a bunch of stuff. I did shortcuts and I got straight to where I wanted to get. I designed something fast for him. And it was like, okay, yeah, he gets a job. No college degree. No going to a accredited graphic design school for $100,000. I punted all that shit. And that's when I realized it was a wrap. Like the minute you get into a Fortune 2000 company, your resume changes immediately. Like how you're perceived changes immediately. The amount of calls you get changes immediately. And I only need that one. And how I got in was as a temp. And what I did was outwork everybody there. You see, lying flat, again, isn't a new phenomenon. My manager, what's up, Mark, who was working at Citibank, he and I started working with macros, which is automation on a PC desktop. We were working with macros, and the macros would do our job because we were doing a lot of testing with this new content management system the bank wanted called TeamSite. So we would just automate all our testing. So like a test could take anywhere between 4 to 6 hours to go through the whole test. So what we would do is we would just set our computers, we'd automate our test process and have it run through our tests. And then we just go to the Guitar Center or Music Factory and go mess with machinery. That's when I started looking at samplers like the MPC, and I started looking, and that's when I actually saw FL Studio in a box. Was that during that time, somewhere around that time? I think so. When did FL Studio? When did it start? This way I know I'm not. Yep, I'm not lying to y'all. Boom. Look at that. 1997. So yes, this is right around the time, 2001, when I see the box at like Sam Ash or something like that. So yeah. So like that, but that would be considered choir and quitting, right? We're doing just enough to keep our jobs, but we're doing more than all these other people because we can get through way more of the testing cycle. Like it would be a 2-day testing cycle for most people. We would get it all done in 1 day. So it's still a quiet quitting, but at the same time, we're still doing work. And for me, that kept me in a job because I kept automating things at my job. He stopped. And then when it came time to program, he didn't really want to program. I knew, well, I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree. I have a high school diploma. I'll be the first one kicked the hell out of here if I don't at least try. But then I was realizing I was falling behind. I was like, I really got to learn this developer-ish. I think that's the next 5 to 10 years for me. If I go into this developer mode, because this design mode, the need for me as a designer to use Dreamweaver to create HTML pages, that shit's going away when somebody uses the template once and they're just filling it with content for a year to 2 years. So I realized immediately, if I didn't pivot, I'd be way out of a job. That's when I first came down to Georgia the first time. Went to Macon, Georgia, and that's when I started my hunt for the technology. Because I worked at the bank, I knew content management system. I knew that word was important. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to find a content management system because the bank had one and they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, it's just code. It can't cost that much. Somebody has to have one. So now let me walk you through the journey because that's where it starts. It starts with a question like, hey, it's putting yourself out of business. So it's understanding, hey, if I don't get out of the cycle of my job, like web designer, like I was graphic designer, I realized as a graphic designer, I had a shelf life. I need to do something new. This new thing came up was called web design. I could take my designs from Photoshop, turn them into HTML through Photoshop. Done. Now I'm a web designer. I didn't really pivot. I stayed in the software. Now I'm just playing with another avenue or medium, right? I'm messing with this new digital medium. You can make a magazine page in Photoshop and it looks like a magazine and I could slice it up and it's now HTML, it's still the same graphic, but now this thing is on a screen. And everybody can see the new magazine layout. But now we turn those magazine layouts into things called websites. So that's why when you went back to the old internet, it looked crazy. Because people were just losing their mind that you could put pictures on a page someplace. But back then, there were inside Dreamweaver, PHP reared its head. So there was, again, ASP, JSP, and PHP. So through these three technologies, one was Microsoft's ASP. I didn't really like it. Didn't like how it worked. Couldn't really understand it. Tried to mess around with it. Then there was JSP. That's Java. Y'all already know. That's way above my pay grade. I barely got out of high school. My math sucks. So I was like, all right, no. It can't be that. Then it was PHP, and I was like, all right, this doesn't scare the shit out of me. Then, as I was able to build things in Dreamweaver, and Dreamweaver put the server-side scripting engine inside of itself, and PHP became part of that scripting side, now all of a sudden I could build a dynamic page based off of this MySQL database, and I could win. All right. But I didn't want to build a whole site. Again, I realized that content management systems were going to work or going to win. So I figured PHP is going to be the winner, but I need to figure out which content management system is going to win. PHP Nuke came up on my radar. This is, when was it originally released? Hold on. When was it officially? No, that's the last one. Yeah, short history of PHP New. Let's see if we can find one. Because I would like it to at least have. All right. Really? Really, y'all? Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I thought it'd be mad easy just to find it. Okay, here we go. Copyright 2004. Yikes. Okay. It's earlier than that, but I will take a 2004 because that's right around when I will say 2004. Okay. I'll say that. I'll give it a 2004. Dun, 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 dun. PHP Nuke. And okay, so there's PHP Nuke. There was PHP website. Right? That's another content management system. And then WordPress 2.5. That was March 2008. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this and why I'm giving you this exercise is I want you to see how long it took before I locked in not only on the content management system I was going to use to run my business, but also the shelf life of the time between I found it, ran my business, and then had issues with the software. All right, so PHP website, another tool that I was looking at, and I can't remember when. Here we go. can't remember, 9 years ago. Good Lord. But it's even older than that. It is even older than that. PHP website. Release dates. No, that's not the same. Version. Nope, that's not the right one. I think it's this. 7 years ago. See all activity. There we go. Oh, let's go. Let's go. No more activities. So 0.10 whatever was over 8 years ago. So I had ended up having to give up on PHP website. This is why I'm looking at it. I'm kind of going back in my head trying to remember why I made the moves I made. All right, PHP nuke got hacked a lot. Database sucked, kept crashing, couldn't use the templates properly. They kept making major changes. It was only one person managing the entire system. And after a time, it just basically fell out of favor. 2.5 version is right around 2008. This is right around my second lifetime. As far as I was in Second Life, started doing stuff in Second Life, was making money in Second Life. So throughout this entire time here, I'm just letting it go. I'm focusing on this virtual world. This virtual world is going to change everything. Virtual gaming is going to change everything. And then 2008, 2007, you know what happened. The great financial collapse happened. Right? The GFC. And with the collapse, people didn't have the disposable income to be able to keep their internet on. So fast forward or rewind back to what we were talking about when I said that people are letting their phone bills go. They would rather, if we go here, that might have been in my last conversation, the one that didn't make it, AT&T, in the news. There, AT&T, as of 4 weeks ago, phone bill payments rising as inflation hurts American wallets. So like I said, it's a different world we're living in. A telephone is not on a wall anymore. Excuse me. A telephone is in your hand. It's connected to GPS. It walks around with you. So if you're not paying for that phone in your pocket, that's also potentially your internet. For some people, they don't have an internet in their home. They have their phone. And if that phone is now off, not only do they lose their communication, they've lost their internet or their ability to get a job in today's market. So when you're hearing about all the layoffs, and then you start hearing about the homelessness, understand there's people living in their cars, teachers. Oh, you don't want to have it in the news? The homeless professor who lives in her car, 2017. And that's not, but that's before Rona. Let's take the tools. Let's do this in the past month. Or let's do the past year. Oh, college discovers teacher had been living in her car for months. Had to live in her car after breaking up with her boyfriend, as teacher had to access her school facilities, but a colleague caught her one day and things didn't go as expected. So we're dealing with the like we talk about teachers and they're underpaid. Okay, they're underpaid before inflation. They were underpaid before Rona. Now you're saying that they're underpaid even more now with inflation, and you want them to drive into school, and you want them to catch these posts, and there's a whole bunch of ish you won't. So again, back then, 2007, 2008, while I felt it, I didn't really feel it. Why? I had pivoted my entire industry to a different degree. I was in another segment. Hey, I'm in this content management system thing. I'm looking at this WordPress thing. And then there's this template monster, and there was theme forest, and I could take these templates that were for WordPress, I could put them together, I could basically make any type of site I needed for a client. And I tested it one day. I went to theme forest, which I can do today. Right? And then all I had to do was say legal firm. Boom. I've got a bunch of damn layouts and templates for a legal firm. Okay, record label. If I spell label right. Oh, I know I'm doing wrong. Hold on. All items. Search. Oh, I did it again. There. So now you've got record labels, right? Then I could say WordPress. Let's do WordPress categories only. Let's say restaurant. So anything I needed, big up, anything I needed, anything I need, I can go in here and I could grab a template and I could spin up a site for a client and I could make it their own, especially with the engines that WordPress had, as far as the template engines that started coming out. So as I figured out what I could do with WordPress, and me and the girl I was dating at the time fell off, I went back home, and within a month or two, I was in the Canon USA job, working in the the high speed printer department. So those big form printers. Oh, let me see. Hold on. Large format printer. Right. Images. So basically things like these. Right. You got Hewlett Packard, Canon. See, image prograph. These are the things I was selling. Well, things I was helping to get sold on what we were selling on the government contracts. So government contracts is you're selling to the government. You got to give them good pricing, and it could go to schools, it could go to government agencies, it could go to wherever. It's just where how the states and the federal spends is on the GSA schedule or the government schedule. So what? But to be able to get any of these contracts now, any of them, we had to have a price book. And what I did is I came up with a way to take a spreadsheet and come up with a PDF that you could print, and you'd have a pretty book with images and the text and the pricing. It took me about a year to figure out. After I got the job, it took me about a year and change to get it running. And then boom, I had it running within a year and about a half. I had it running. And then by the second year, I had it down to a science. We were knocking out 30 books a quarter because we had about 30 clientele and they needed books on a regular basis for price changes. So and then by the time I left, which was in 2013, you're talking about I was doing 40 books. Now think about it this way: if each client generates about anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000, and I did 45, I mean, let's just do this math real fast. Let's just do this math. Hold on. Phone. Right? So we've got 200,000 times, let's just say I had 42. I think it was 45, but let's just say 42. That is how much, at a bare minimum, I generated for the company. Do you think I got a raise? Do you think they paid me any extra? Do you think I got any awards that would position me for any raises? No. I just netted you well over $1 million and I got nothing out of it. That's why I left and came back to Georgia. When you generate that much cash flow, when you can't walk into a building without my technology, with having made that book. You can't even get the deal without it. And you don't even think, maybe I should pay that kid. But this just goes to show you, anybody, you should never be anyone's employee. You've got to work for yourself. So while I'm doing this, while I'm working at Canon, and while I'm already feeling underappreciated, I begin having an idea. And I'm starting to tell my boy Ty Durden about it. I was like, yo, bro, I think with WordPress, I may be able to build an app out of it, and we can do some real cool stuff with that. So I started tinkering around and doing that. And one of the things I found out was, I was like, sorry, I got to get something to drink. I need some water. I found out, number one, if you I was on a shared server, one of those like HostGator or something like that. One, if you're on a shared server, your server is mad slow. So WordPress on that was already a crawl. Now you pile that on top that you want to try to treat it like an application. I could barely work in there. And then the servers kept crashing. So then I realized it wasn't going to work. So I had to postpone that. So I basically gave up on applications with WordPress way back in 2012, 2011, right around there, 2012. I'll say 2012. I gave up on it. I figured I'm going to just deal with it as a website builder. I'm going to have to figure something else. We're probably going to have to program something. We were using WordPress at Canon. That's how I got the job. It was because I knew WordPress. So again, a piece of technology, just like Adobe Photoshop, just like Dreamweaver got me a job, just like Excel got me a job. Here's WordPress getting me a job. Just like I'm telling y'all now, N8N, which is like Zapier. And if you go to Zapier, I tell y'all Pocket Watch for a reason, right? Like if you go to Zapier, Zapier, and then you go pricing. Hold on, I need an incognito window. Boom, here we go. So if you go here, while it says you get unlimited zaps, that's not really true. Yes, you get unlimited zaps, but you can only do 2,000 tasks a month. If you want more than that, you've got to pay more money. And look at how, like, 20,000 tasks a month. 20,000 tasks a month is $189 a month. This is just for Zapier. Now, why is this important? Why is 20,000 tasks important? Let me show you. Again, let's pull this calculator out again, and let's do some quick math. Let's say I want 1,000 people on a website. Now, those 1,000 people interact with my site, let's just say 5 times a day. That's not a lot. That's just, hey, I come in here and I log in and I look at, like, how many times do you go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter a day, right? Or how many times did you go to your email a day? That's the interaction I'm talking about. You just load that thing up. So let's just say you interact with the application 5 times, or the robot, or Zapier does something for me 5 times, and I have 1,000 people, right? So 1,000 people times 5, oops, times 5 times 30 days. That's 150,000 transactions right then and there. Okay, 150,000 transactions. Let's scroll down then, because we just got to bypass all that shit and go, well, let's just stop at 100,000, because that's $489. You start to see what I'm seeing? That there is a price point for this automation thing that makes sense. Now, if I have N8N, which can do the same damn thing and integrate, but I put it on my own server, well, now all of a sudden, I have all of this power at my disposal for cheap. Now, what is my client doing? My client is spending this. Do you think I can come at my client with a cheaper price, or even a great price like this, and say unlimited? Do you think I could take him as a client and get $500? If he's already paying $500, yup. But again, that's only 5 people doing 5 interactions a day. $2,003,389 is how much it costs for Zapier to do 2 million tasks. We've already beaten it with unlimited with N8N. And it's free. You can install it on the Amazon server. You just got to pay for the server on Amazon. And you've got unlimited transactions to whatever your bandwidth is. So this is a new technology that is still in its early phases. But it allowed me to start saying, well, WordPress may not need to be the interaction point I need to interact with. Like, it doesn't need to be the app. Maybe I need to take the brain of my app and kind of yank it out and move it to the side and let N8N handle that one, right? Let N8N be the brains of WordPress a bit. WordPress can just be the presentation layer, but still, to be able to do a lot of the display and everything else, I have to buy so many plugins. And then every plugin you buy for WordPress then just leads to it being heavy and clunky and taking up too much memory. And the next thing I know, I have a server that I'm paying $100 and something a month on that's getting 5 people a month to come see. This is the pain points of the WordPress phenomena becoming an application. In an app-driven, data-driven world, WordPress is a blog. It isn't meant to be a membership. It's not meant to be a shopping cart. It can do all these things, but it's not meant to do them effectively. Hell, we can't even get access to the damn custom post types internally. So, 2014, I come back to Atlanta because I'm going to do UI, user interface. I'm going to design the shell of graphics. And I get a job at First Data, one of the largest e-commerce plays in the country. It makes the Clover app you see in a lot of stores. Like, if I hold on, I can show you. Give me a second. First Data. Merchant services, payment processing. And let me show you the images. This way you can just kind of see what they look like. Like they have these card readers. Here, see these card readers? You see these card readers everywhere, right? This is the company I work for. They were going into tablets, and I designed the UI screen for one of their kiosk device. Hold on, where is it? Come on. Stop playing, Cletus. Kiosk. I don't know if they even launched it. They may have never launched it. It was gonna be something like this, but with but in a store to do transactions. Here it is. Ah, they did do it. This is it. They did use it, kinda. They changed it, but it's kinda that. It was like this, and it was gonna be on tablets and all that other stuff. So yeah, so that's what I was designing, right? And meantime, between time, I'm looking at other services. I'm looking at other code. I'm beginning to look at Amazon Web Services as far as for hosting, because I'm like, well, if WordPress can't be on a shared server, I might need to use this Amazon thing. So let me start learning Amazon or how to install on Amazon. And that helped because now, again, I'm using a name, Amazon Web Services, that goes on my resume. And now on Amazon Web Services, what am I doing? I'm setting up Linux. I'm installing WordPress. I'm securing WordPress. I'm designing my websites, but now I've got, hey, I can control I'm IT a bit, right? I got a little bit of IT now because I can sit there and say, oh, I can do infrastructure. So now I got some infrastructure on my resume. That's starting to help a little bit, but not that much. Because again, WordPress is dying out. Then I finally get a job with a startup. After I only did first data as a temp for, I think it was 90 days. And then I got another job with a startup. And then with that startup, I basically was, again, the WordPress guy. Now, meantime, between time, I met my fiance. I told her, leave her job because they were treating her like shit, and then, they kept hiring people over her. And I was like, yo, leave, go ahead and do what you got to do for you because you deserve that. I got this. Little did I know, a year and change later, I'd be laid off. Right? And we're living together, and I got to make sure I'm paying bills, and it was getting tight. So what I had to do was really look at what I was how I was gonna change after, like, because WordPress wasn't getting me any more jobs. Like, it just literally everything dried out. Yes, I could still get a job, but what they didn't want to pay me 60,000. And the coup de grace was I was working with a social media, a multi-million-dollar social media influencer, and homeboy tried to short me on my money. Like, literally was like, yo, I know you want 60,000, but I'm gonna have you come in for 50,000 just as a trial. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll take it, because one, I needed the money, and two, since it was social media and I'm in this automation phase, I'm looking at N8N. I'm starting to see this automation thing is gonna probably take off. I think that N8N is gonna be the leader. I think that that's gonna be it. I think Node.js is interesting as a technology, as a competitive technology against PHP. Node.js being this engine that runs on top of it is dope. And the other things you can do with Node.js is kind of giving it some powers, some superpowers. And I'm like, I kind of like this. I don't want to. Then I started messing with it. I'm like, all right, I don't really like this. Because again, it's not like I can go to Dreamweaver and just build a Node.js thing. And the company, one of the companies, and this is one of them, that I'm waiting on as a technology is Wappler. But this is you building your own app. Now, again, the big problem I have with all of the applications I'm going to soon be talking about is one major thing. You have to rebuild everything every single time. What I mean by that, you want a login system? Gotta build it. Want an affiliate system? You gotta build it. Need a redirection system? You gotta build it. Want to do some analytics besides Google? You got to build it. Want to be able to do some automated stuff with it? You got to build it. So everything you got to build, but the basic blocks like login, doing a shopping cart. I just want to do like set up a shopping cart. I got to build it. I got to concentrate on security for it. Right? And I don't want to with WordPress, the fact that you've got to keep doing all the damn everything. Like, do you know how insecure that shit is with the 3 fucking plugins? Nevertheless, to get a decent app, you're probably putting 20 damn plugins into WordPress to get something functionally favorable. And then every plugin slows it down just a little bit more and just a little bit more until it's unusable. By the time you're like, all right, finally, all the plugins are in. Let me try to make this functional as the application for my clients. All of a sudden, you're like, it's dragging. I got to buy a bigger server and a faster server and a bigger server and a faster server. You haven't even gotten the first client down yet. But you already had to upgrade 2 times because your speed is that slow. Because Google will not put you in SEO with a crappy ass speed score. Now, again, this is a great tool. I love this tool. I invest in it here and there and I test it. It's dope. And this new layout that they got is sickening. But again, I am tired. Like with this, you have to install Node.js yourself. You've got to put it on a server. They're making it kind of easy for you and they're starting to do these things, but that means we're early. I shouldn't have to build a login system. I shouldn't have to worry about security for my login system. I just want to build applications at speed. I know it's spoiled. WordPress spoiled me. So as my salary is dropping, because, you know, like I said, the guy came back, the multimedia millionaire came back talking about at the end, like right before Rona hit. This is in 2020. This is in February of 2020. He had the nerve to tell me, hey, man, I want to give you $35,000 a year. My nigga, suck my from the back. For real. Like, are you kidding me? So I can barely survive, but you want me to do all the development, do all this code, do everything for you, and you want to pay me $35,000? You have no idea. This is why your company sucks. Basically, why his company sucked. Because he was refusing to invest and then had the nerve to disrespect the people around him for the quality of service they provided. Like, nigga, you looked at my resume and you saw the titles on my resume. Stop playing with me. But that is every employer you're ever going to have. Because nobody's ever going to believe in nothing you do. And that's fine. Let them not believe. What you do is you crush their backs. By outpacing in whatever markets you need to do to survive. Because at the end of the day, like I told y'all, it's about swiping a card and eating at this point. These other people want to dream and have hopes and hopiums and all that stuff. Right now, with the economy the way it is, we don't know what's going to happen. But I do know one thing that has been proven time and time again in this conversation we've had, and I've told y'all. I did not feel 2001 .com bubble. Why didn't I feel it? I didn't feel it because I had pivoted into a digital job. I was designing websites by then. I was designing graphics and websites. I didn't feel the great financial collapse. I was back in New York. I mean, I did. Then I was back in New York by 2010 and in a job because of a piece of software. 2020, I not only lost my job, well, had to quit my job because of Rona. I was like, y'all don't get it. It's going to be bad. And I already saw the videos in China. The past November, December, we were watching the videos up in the office. And I was like, yo, man, this thing looks serious. So Come springtime, I'm like, nah, this is gonna get bad, bruh. And you're not taking this seriously, and you want to undercut me? I'm out. I'm good. So now, and then had the nerve to call me, bruh. Had the nerve to call me while, like, I think about a month and a half later, called me up and said, "Yo, man, you were right. I apologize. You're right about, the need for technology and the direction you were going in." I was like, I know. I appreciate you being that you having the, the wherewithal to the humility to say that. But did it change nothing? Did he give me, did he? I was like, look, this is what I do. If you want da, I can send you an invoice and we can do that. He wanted me to maintain his sites, and I was like, I'll maintain for you, no problem. This is how much I charge an hour. Now that we outside these walls and I'm not working for you, this is how I charge. This is what's da. Sent him the invoice. Do you think I heard back? No. Why? Because what I was charging, he didn't believe I was worth. Well, fuck you and all you stand for. Nobody is going to appreciate what you bring to the table. But unfortunately, we don't appreciate what we bring to the table to allow them to mistreat us. So, Alzheimer's and WordPress don't mix. In the middle of Rona is when I learned the biggest lesson for having a service-based business only. Because WordPress, I was doing WordPress sites, and my business was, I got to find a client, I got to get a client in here, I got to get a client for as much capital as I can. So I was working with a venture capital firm, and I had to give them 5% of everything they brought to me. And I was like, and then it's like, you'll think about it, and this is what the screwy thing about a service job with WordPress. When you're building a website, you're not going to build it and have it done in like a day. It's not going to be done in like a week. And in some regards, it may not even be 2 weeks, right? It might take months. Now, let's say you paid me $2,000 for a website. Keeping the numbers easy. I do the $2,000 for a website because I want to keep it easy. So let's say we do 2,000. But what if the project stretches out over 2 months? I got paid $2,000. We now have to stretch that across 2 months. Like, what if I had to spend time with this client all the time? What if I didn't charge properly because this client is taking up more of my time than we had agreed upon, and I can't get extra money out of the client? And then at the same time, I'm giving you 5%. You see what I'm saying? So that whole business wasn't going to work right there. Then add to the equation that my mom began to get, her Alzheimer's got so bad that I had to go in the middle of this whole pandemic and run down to New York and begin to try to take care of my mom. And then become my mom's nurse because she was just that bad. There's nothing worse than a nurse who believes she's still a nurse and had retired years ago, looking for a patient every 10 minutes. No, mom, there's no patient. No, mom, you don't work anymore. No, mom, there's no patient. Mom, you haven't had a patient in years. Didn't matter. Now, how do you work when somebody else thinks they need to work? When you have to babysit them because they're putting a chocolate bar on the stove to cook. Because that's how it's always done. While she's burning popcorn, because the popcorn that's already popped needs to be warmed up in a frying pan with oil. It's already popped. Because she's going to stir some sugar on it or something. It made no sense, but to her, it did. So now all of a sudden, I can't work the way I used to work because I've always got to be thinking about, okay, I can't think about 20 plans in advance or try to link things together because while I'm trying to link something, my mom is throwing a glitch in the matrix by asking a crazy question from left field. So that made me have to look at my time in a new way to say, okay, I have to free myself up even more than I did before, because when and if I have to do and be my mom's 100% caretaker again, then I'm going to need free time to be able to digest that. And I can't work a client base. Here's a client, here's a client, here's a client, here's a client system over and over again. I need a system that I can automate. I need a system that can be maintained at a distance and can do work for me throughout the day, similar to what I was doing at Canon. But the thing is that these jobs that we get are easy to automate when they've already proven to the company that they generate income. When you're an independent person trying to figure out how you make money, well, nobody's there to tell you. There's nobody going to hold your hand, because every influencer out there that can tell you, hey, this is how you're going to make money, might be old. It might be old information. It might be oversaturated. Now, the things that I tell y'all, hey, go to CD Baby, upload your music, and now you can generate your at least generate some royalties. The music industry's been oversaturated. Doesn't mean that shitty music's gonna beat good music being played more than once. Dig me? So you can have a bunch of shitty music out there. At least if your stuff is pumping, it makes royalties, because if it sounds good, people will listen to it. They'll put it on a playlist. Guess what? My music has been out there. Ain't nobody know who the hell I am, and I've been making royalties before I even got started on my marketing yet. Now I'm gonna get started on my marketing. But before I can do that, of course, I'm dealing with the website scenario, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna leave WordPress. There's gotta be some good platforms out here. Let us begin the hunt. I went through literally hundreds of different applications, narrowing them down. I've made phone calls after phone calls, because if you go to a website and they don't give you an actual number, typically it's over $10,000. But if you don't see a price point on the website, it's typically over 10. Say telling you, hey, contact us, it's typically over 10. Time is used as a weapon to blindside people. Yes. But people waste time. Do you know somebody looked at me weird last night, RTP, when I told them, he was like, yo, you watch TV? And I was like, nope. Like, do you watch the UFC? I was like, no, I don't watch TV. He's like, what? I was like, I don't watch TV. I'm too busy, and I rub my fingers together. Because I don't spend time supporting things that make more money than me. So if I watch a TV show, what sense does that make to me? That person, the executive producer, the actors, the person that was on set, the person holding the camera, all make way more money than I do. They don't need my help. I need my help. So those extra hours a day, we all have the same 24 hours, and we all need some type of sleep, or we're going to go loopy. So I take my hours, even if I had a job. I got up at 6 something in the morning. I got on the road to go all the way to Canon. It took around 45 minutes to get there by car, because my homeboy would drive us. We get there. I'd eat breakfast downstairs, because I had to be there extra early. We were there like by 8 o'clock in the morning, so that we could walk out the door at 5 o'clock with nobody saying shit to us. People think I'm crazy for not watching Power. Bruh, I don't watch nothing. Like, I don't watch the news. I don't watch, the only thing I watch is anime. Literally, that's the only thing I'll watch at night, because I go to sleep with it. I'll watch me some My Hero Academia. I'll watch me some Once in a Blue, some Naruto. One Punch Man, like damn near religiously right now. Like literally One Punch Man, like on a regular now. But that's it. Like, I don't watch Shark Tank. I don't watch no dramas. Like, why? What does that, like, those hours, what did I get out of it? I will watch the economy at night. Like the reason why I was able to pivot in November and say, yo, something's wrong. And I started looking at the economy in November. And by January, I'll shorten the market was because I spent hours in the evening time watching, like while my girl's watching TV, she's allowed to veg out. Like she's the TV person. She is allowed to veg out. Why is she allowed to veg out? She's a chef. She's on her feet all day. She's up 6 a.m. in the morning. She's getting home sometimes at like late at night. You want to sit there and veg the hell out on P Valley? You knock yourself out. I got nothing to say to you. So long as you also, at least once a year, create some type of asset for yourself, because your feet ain't gonna last forever and your hands ain't gonna last forever. Yeah, anime is part of my game plan, so it is mandatory. It is part of my game plan, but it only became part of my game plan because it was part of my therapy. Like I just needed something to just like American cartoons are stupid. Like literally, their characters are ignorant. Family Guy, stupid. My American Dad, stupid. The Simpsons, stupid. South Park, stupid. Uh shit, what's the other one? Archer, stupid. Like one of the main characters is an imbecile. Right? And but if you look at Japanese anime, there's soul. There's animes that'll bring you to freaking tears. I want to see one South Park episode that would brought me to tears. Not a one. Right? So it's good to have something that will motivate you, like motivates and drives you. Like Naruto back in the day would motivate you. Like here's this underdog that has to stand up and rise up, which is basically us. These underdogs as people that need to stand up and rise up with the fact that we're all left out to dry. Nobody taught us how to deal with this shit because our parents didn't know how to deal with this, because their parents didn't know how to deal with this, because their parents didn't know how to deal with this. The Inquisition's a motherfucker. Yeah, all of them are just dumb. Like it was killing me. I didn't realize it until I phased away from the American cartoon. And the minute I phased away, and I was like, "Damn! Look at Demon Slayer. Look at One Punch Man. Look at even One Punch Man, which is kind of like stupid, but as far as funny, he's like a funny character. If you look at it, he became so strong, his life is boring. Like he's the anti-hero. He's so strong that life sucks. He can hit everything in one punch and it's over. But if you look at every single one of the cartoons we create, it's all ignorant. And by nature, because they're dumbing down society. Like dumbing it the hell down. And while they're dumbing it the hell down, they're doing nothing to be able to give them any motivation. The only thing you got is Shark Tank. And that's another hustle culture, which is cool if you're looking for investors, but you can't really be like most of these people are walking in there, I haven't made $1 yet. I have people who have wanted to invest in my software. I've had family members who have wanted to invest in me, and I've told them no. Well, why not? Because I don't have anything I could sell. Right now, I have nothing that's generating a consistent income. I have no product and or services that have gone out. I have no company other than my freelance company that is me working for basically giving myself a job. I was like, okay, I go find a client and I have to do the work. I've just created a job. There's a book called E-Myth Revisited. I'm actually listening to the audiobook again. Yeah, E-Myth Revisited. That is the why most small businesses don't work. And what to do about it. This is one of the books I even told my girl she needed to read. Because in the book is a story about a baker who hates baking now. And my girl's a chef. And everything that this baker is talking about, I got to get up in the morning. I'm up at 2 a.m. and I got to do the shopping and I do do my shopping list before I go to sleep. And I get up in the morning and then I get up go into the kitchen and then I'm working there all day until the nighttime. And I do that all over again. That's every quote unquote entrepreneur, but that's not really an entrepreneur. What you've done is you created a job. That's the fallacy about entrepreneurship. You're an entrepreneur when you had the idea, but it's a technician that works the job or works the business. It's the person that actually does the work. And if that's you, you have to be a technician. Well, the entrepreneur will gave you the dream, but the technician got to do the work, and the work is day to day, and the work sucks. So my day to day with WordPress had sucked. Now, what I needed was a new platform. So I went looking. I told y'all about Bubble. I went to Bubble. Bubble has a problem with images. They have a new responsive system. Got a brand new responsive system. The problem is it's a brand new damn responsive system. No doubt, RTP. No, so here we go. We got this system. Doesn't even do graphics the way that I would like. It actually skews my graphics. So if your graphics are in a certain size, its responsive engine, you have to do it exactly to the size. So I can't just scale it the way I want. I just I can scale it, but it shifts it, and I could tell that it was skewing my images, and I couldn't even get an image on the page on my coming soon page without it being an issue. And I was like, you know what? If just me putting a picture or an image on this shit and me having to work time to try to get that thing to work out is annoyance, is a bottleneck, I'm out. So I left this alone. I was like, look, I can't build fast here. Y'all, it's new. Y'all are new. This is new for you. I'm just going to have to leave you alone. So this is why I left Bubble alone. Then I looked at another piece of software called Softer. You'll see it for low code, no code. I'm showing you the actual screen right now. I was going to build ToxicHustle Pro. You have this login. I could probably change out a picture, but I can't do any animation. These boxes are basically this size. I have to go in these areas to change colors. It's good for some new person who wants to work it and doesn't care about design. It's great to get a little prototype up, but I'm looking for more than that. Like I want it to, like I want to build something where if somebody's coming in to look at my content, like I'm getting a newsletter. I've got this education stuff that I'm doing with how I'm setting up Studio One for recording, how to do songwriting. I'm doing my songwriting course right now. And I want that songwriting course so that everybody can learn how to do songwriting easier. Like I've come up with a way that Jay-Z was writing in his head. I figured out how to do it. And then I figured out how to do it outside of your head. And then I figured it out because Jay-Z and Biggie did it. And I was like, well, they're not smarter than me. I can just figure it out. And I can tell y'all what it is. You hum out a pattern. You keep humming that pattern. Those patterns become words. And now you can remember the words because you have the pattern. That's it. But I've come up with a formulatic way to do that inside a record. So it doesn't matter if it's Studio One. It doesn't matter if you're using Ableton. It doesn't matter if you're using, well, it does matter if you're using Ableton just because, you know, Ableton's not great with mix downs. It doesn't matter if you're in Pro Tools. It won't matter if you're in Logic. FL Studio, it doesn't really matter. You can still do it, but you know how FL Studio is with live audio. So this wasn't going to do it for me. So I chucked this to the corner. I can close that out. I was only keeping it open for this so that I can talk about it in this today's rant. Then, of course, there's Webflow. Here we go. Now, Webflow again, I told y'all it's brand new as far as what I need from it. So what's new is user membership is new. So having a user account is new. And then a shopping system is not new. It's pseudo new, but not new. But the user system is new, and that's what I added. And of course, I have the e-commerce, right? Which is pseudo new. Now, what's the problem? Here's the problem. I can't do test sales through their beta of their software. Not only that, the membership of this is very rudimentary. Like literally, I have this folder called ToxicHustle Pro. I lock that folder up, and then anybody who gets access to inside this folder can get any of the screens that I have, i.e. the dashboard that had the classes, right? And as you can see, it's calling the database and it's getting that information out. Now, number one, I'm locked to their own database. If I want another database, I got to do something outside, and that something outside that I was going to use was oh, I shouldn't have closed it. Web flow external API. I think I can find it that way. Not FinSuite. Do I still have it open? Hold on. Man. I'm annoyed that I closed it. Oh, that's another software I used. Y Code. That was another one right there. I tried. It doesn't do redirects. Webflow, there was an external software. Shoot. Oh, there's another one too. EILDR. I told y'all about that one. And there's another one. There's one more damn program, but I don't have it. All right. So anyway, what we got, right? So Webflow. I got to use an external software. I have to go back in the video that I showed last week as to what the other name of that software was. Then there was Y Code, which is like a Webflow competitor. The problem is it doesn't do redirects. So like I can't do something as simple as if you go on this page, let's say if I wanted to create a redirect script and somebody lands on a Go page, right? And the Go page redirects you to the Musical Geniuses Discord. So it's like ToxicHustle.com/go/MG the future Discord, right? That to be the URL. You click on that URL, it takes you over to the Musical Geniuses Discord, but I want to track that and do all this stuff beforehand. So rather than using an external software, I wanted that internally because we should be able to do that. No, they can't do that. And I even wrote them, it's like, hey, do you think you're going to add that in? No, we don't think we're going to do that. Well, I can't mess with you then because I need that one thing. And if I can't even get that, then I can't mess with you. So then I tried to do Builder, right? I told y'all about Builder. Hey, this is kind of cool. It can build stuff. Yeah, it can. The thing is, again, it's clunky. Like, it's built for devs who want to dev. Like, it's built for UI guys that know how to do CSS and HTML stylings and all this other stuff. So if you have that in your head, you can do and you want to do some JavaScript coding, you can't say you're low code, but you're coding. And you have to write code in here. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm writing code, well, that defeats the purpose of quote unquote low code because I'm writing code. Like I have to write these modules to do specific things that I need. Now, yes, I can design stuff and you can design some websites, but of course, you can build let's just say there's a lot of people that have had issues with this. So I couldn't, like me, my head couldn't wrap around it. I left it alone. I told you about Bubble, right? Bubble. Let me drag that out here. And drag that in here. So I started with that. Went to Webflow, tried Y code, went to Bubble, tried Softer. Who else? I told you about Wappler. Let me drag that over here too. This is all part of the, like Wappler was actually, oops, wrong way. Wappler is where I started because I was with Dreamweaver. They made the Dreamweaver plugin. And then it was Builder. Then it was Webflow. Then it was Bubble. Then Webflow. After that. Then I went to this. And now, what I'm doing is, it's time for the rant. Because, as I was showing you, all these low-code, no-code platforms, while they look good, and there was another one even, Appy? Wizard. There it is. Found it. This. Wizard. Whatever you call it. This is what you need to connect to Webflow to be able to connect external API data inside Webflow. So again, you need extra shite to get a membership inside Webflow. This would be what I would need to use to build that membership inside Webflow. But I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep, like, how do I bring this to a client? How do I bring this to a customer? Like with WordPress, what I was able to do is say, hey, I can spin up a server for you. It can be $5 to $10 and I can put WordPress on there and then you pay me for the service of getting your website up. Boom. Easy business model. Easy. Now, how do I do this Webflow? Now you can do this Webflow, but I can't really build an app. I mean, I can build a CMS because I had to understand what Webflow was. I didn't understand the history of Webflow. Webflow was a landing page builder. That's it. Just like WordPress was a blog generator. It's not really a content management system. It is kind of, but it was built to be a blog. And then you got a Webflow that's basically a landing page now trying to be an application builder. But it ain't ready. It's just not ready. Like Webflow's not ready. These new things, this user area is brand new. And while it kind of works, it doesn't really work. And what you're able to do with the memberships is lacking. So with all that being said, I had to take a step back and I had to reevaluate WordPress because what others, like my girl's, and like, she's been patient with me. Like my nigga, she's like, yo, what you doing? Like, are you serious? We get another program, like another one. Like, she's lived through multiple times with me saying, I think I got it. I think this is it. And then I find a bug. Like I was an AOL. When AOL was out, I became a bug. I found bugs for them. I became a beta tester. When I was at at Citibank, I became a beta tester because I could find bugs and break shit. The developers loved that about me and hated it. When I went to Canon, I ended up having to, like, they were trying to build my application that I was doing to build these catalogs and they couldn't do it. So they were like, well, we're building something else for the content management system to kind of offset some of this. Can you be a beta tester? And I started destroying their site. So I can find shit that's wrong with shit really fast. Like my mentor told me, the first thing you do, fail fast. It's like, if you have an idea, don't spend $1 billion to fix $1,000 problem. If it doesn't work, then just fail, kill it, move on to the next one, or come back to it later if it suits the purpose. Now, me, I tried to chuck WordPress to the side, cast it out, but then I had to look at it now and say, what else is the hell out here that can even remotely do anything? And will it look like something my clients would want? Well, right now, I got nothing. I have looked everywhere. As you've seen, all these Wappler, great, but I got to build a login page. Really? And I got to build a shopping system? Ain't nobody got time for that. And I got to do that for every freaking client. I can't map shit. And then if I have to fix it, I got to fix it for every... Nah, man, I don't want to get into that business. Builder, still brand new, still fresh, looks great for what it can do, but it's too complicated unless you know CSS. Wizard, you need it for Webflow to build applications, but Webflow still ain't ready. And it's not as fast as it could be. This doesn't redirect. It doesn't have no redirects. You just can't redirect if you want to redirect. I have to write my own redirect script to redirect. I don't want to do that. No. But it's close. It could, Y code could potentially be that next thing, but I don't know. It might be next year. And then Softer, I showed you what it looks like. It looks like it's young. It's a toy. It's good to build small applications for internal things you want to do in a low code, no code way. It's not going to help me if I want to have y'all go to a commerce slash course site, right? Which led me to courses. Like, I was like, well, I used to work with JM, so, you know, he was teaching people how to do courses. So I went and looked at those. I looked at every major piece of course software. I had one thing that I needed, though: APIs. I'm going into automation, right? I'm telling y'all, automation is going to kill everything. As long as I have N8N, I can automate everything on the planet that has an API. So if you don't have an API in your software, suck my ish from the back, right? So that's how I feel about it. So now I go to Thinkific. I know it's an affiliate. I'm not ever going to sign up, so it doesn't even matter. Damn it. It's really an affiliate. This. Get out of my way. Go to pricing. I want to show y'all something. And this is the bullshit. This is why I'm frustrated. Again, WordPress has some great things and it can do so much. And this is what I mean when I tell you it's frustrating to me. Because I go to a site like this, and to get API access, can't get it nowhere else, right? I got to pay $399 a month if it's yearly. If it's monthly, I got to pay $500 effing a month. Suck my from the back. Are you serious, man? To get API access, you're going to fail. Next. Mighty Networks. Seems really interesting. One of the things I want is, how can I sell downloads? Because I know, what's his name, JM, was using Teachable. And Teachable has APIs. So I could definitely go with Teachable. Now, the problem I have with Teachable was, let's go to the monthly. Unlimited students, website builder. You get access to API, right? So now that's $119 a month. That's monthly, right? Yep, that's monthly. $119 a month. You get API now, right? So you get API. So that's not bad. And then you got affiliate marketing and email support, but there's no downloads. So if you want to do a download, you can set it up, but you're not really setting up a download page. You're not offering a download. You're not able to, there's things it's not really a website. It's a courseware site that you can do some downloads in, but it's not really conducive to that. I can't just have a landing page with a download button, right? So this wasn't going to work for me, though it has APIs, and though it's kind of cheap, it doesn't have downloads where I can offer, let's say, presets or offer sound packs or offer MIDI packs, or I can't do all the other stuff that would not, it's not just me training, right? So there's other things that it needs to have two sides of it, really three sides of a site. It needs the, hey, I don't know what the hell you do side of the site. It needs, hey, I kind of know what you do and I want to take your course side of the site. And hey, I kind of like what you do. I don't really care about the courses, though I will take the courses, but I also want the access to all those downloads all in one place, right? So when you're thinking about what you're trying to deliver for a customer, you're thinking about if they know what they want, you're trying to get all of the deliverables for at least the baseline of what the application looks like. And that's what I'm teaching y'all, and what I'm trying to share with y'all is the thought process of application development in a low-code sphere. Right now, the engine that seems to be able to pseudo do it is WordPress. Kajabi. I'm not going to click on your damn shite bastard. Boom. Another one that I found prior to leaving JM. If you go to the monthly plans at $199, you can do 15 products. Okay, so now I'm limited in the amount of products I can have or sell. 15 funnels, landing pages, all this stuff. But basically, you can only have 15 sellable products. You want, or 100 products for $399. So again, this is good for a segment that isn't looking for what I'm looking for, right? And then Podia, and no API on Kajabi. And then search Podia. Podia's pricing. Again, selling courses, unlimited webinars, affiliates. Again, no. I asked them. I called. I actually sent an email. There is no API. No API support. So again, none of these companies, you get close but no cigar with any of these things. So let me go pull up my WordPress. Where is it? So WordPress is annoying. WordPress sucks. It's slow. It's old. But if it's the only thing you got, you've got to kind of try to figure out how you can pseudo make a bad situation better. Here I have the bit $115 a month and going on this company called Kinsta. Now, my problem, why am I looking at this and not going to Amazon Web Services? Amazon was not meant for WordPress. Amazon is meant as a server. Amazon has so many permissions. It doesn't handle WordPress well. They basically just threw it on there. So there's things that you have to continuously do just to get things to work. Even how it handles email is a hack around to even get the email to work. And that's just annoying. Like you could typically just install a WordPress and then email works automatically because you can just use PHP mail. On Amazon, that is not the case. Those things are all turned the hell off because they're limiting everything because of spam, potential hacks, and all that other stuff. So you don't get all of these things out of the box you would get just being on a shared server or your own dedicated server. This is my own dedicated server. So basically, not dedicated as by myself, but it's my own bandwidth limited server. 100,000 visits. I get 5 installs, but for me, it's still the 100,000 visits. 30 gigabytes of disk space. Now, I did look over here at WP Engine, but the gigabytes that you were getting and how much bandwidth you were allowed, if you go down, they said 200 there. CDN, you get 400. So I was like, nah, I'm going to have to go here. So why am I doing this? Because I need the fastest system optimized specifically for WordPress. Those are the two. So I decided this is where I'm going to have to go. The reason why I'm doing this show today and why I'm going to be ranting in a bit is because I'm so fucking annoyed that I have to go this direction, but I have no choice. Everything that I've shown you, they're all early. They're not ready. Webflow announced interaction logic, which you need, like the whole logic thing. Like, oh, that's another thing. Webflow ain't got no lamb logic built in, so you can't just say if this happens, do this over here. No, right? So there's no logic, and they just put users in, and none of that's really connected right. So they're not ready. It's a year. They announced logic, and they announced the membership last year, and membership just came out. I just got access to it a couple weeks ago, and I'm already chucking it to the side because it doesn't work. Now, maybe next year it might be better. Maybe all of these, how I feel about all this shit changes, but I have to build an application this year. I have to build it this month. I got to start working on it now. So I have to make a cutoff and say, I've done enough research to now justify my frustration of having to go back. But I'm going back only because certain things have pseudo changed for WordPress. One, I was using WordPress engine. Elementor. I didn't even need it. Elementor. So this is the software that I've been using to build web pages in WordPress faster. A lot of the themes had this as a backend. This is Elementor. Now, I've used Elementor on multiple client sites, and one of the biggest problems I have with it is it's consistently breaking things. Like, just breaking. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, the update happens, something breaks. I just got tired of everything breaking. And it wasn't doing anything dynamically for me. So I couldn't use it to get dynamic content on the page. So again, I can't build an app. Plus, it was slow. It was like slowing down the sites. And then something broke between a template and something else, and I had two different templates, and one of those templates were working fine for a client, and then it broke. And the only thing that was the same was Elementor. Another thing I was using was a company called CrocoBlock. This company has a thing called Jet Engine. Jet Engine is how you can create your own post types. Post types are how you can create your own databases within or tables within WordPress, so that you can turn WordPress, basically, instead of you hard coding things in WordPress, you have a shell layer built on top of it. Again, more plugins you add to WordPress, more problems. So I end up spending like $5,000 trying to get all these plugins, and I won't say $5,000. It's closer to like $2,000 to get all these plugins and everything to build these websites. Got everything, started building the website, put it on a $100 server on Amazon. Everything froze up. Still slow. So that didn't work. Hence why I was looking for low code, no code tools, because I wanted to get away from this crappy ass not being able to build a data-driven app in a data-driven world. Like, we're in 20, at the time, 20, right? It was 2020. And I'm like, I still can't build an app with WordPress. So I took a step back and said, I got to start looking at something else. A few things came, and one of them was Bricks. Bricks allows you to build, and you got a ultimate lifetime license on it. I like it. it's good performance, and you can design and do layouts, and I believe it's also built in for dynamic. So you can pull out dynamic data as well. Animations, CSS, visual box styling. I want to say it's dynamic. That you can use dynamic documentation. Search for DYNAMIC. WooCommerce Builder, build a single product, build a cart, build a checkout, query loops. Yes, so you can do query loops and then create your own stuff. So, like I said, this thing is seemingly fast, can do dynamic, and I won't need plugins. The only thing I may need is to create I already have a license for CrocoBlock. I could just use Jet Engine to create my stuff, but I could also start using a few of these things and see if it doesn't break anything. But that is, in essence, where I'm heading. I'm going back begrudgingly because there's no other choice. I've got no other choice right now but to go back. But because the performance, from what I've heard about this, like Visual Composer, like, see, it used to be Visual Composer, and then I went with Elementor. And you can just see, the higher the number, the better. So Visual Composer, crappy. This is why I said I couldn't design any sites. This is page speed on mobile. This is mobile, damn. 64, and then Elementor 75. Then you have 79, which is not that bad, 82, and 79. HTTP requests, only 6 HTTP requests. So lower is better here. So only 6 HTTP requests. Like when you call a page, how many times it's calling itself. This is how much bandwidth you're running and wasting. Page size, 1.1 megabyte is the page size for a default regular page. 1.5, 1.7, 0.9. So everything, like the amount of code that's being padded, the amount of tables, the amount of cells and everything that these other things develop or design with are just loading down your page, slowing it up. So it's becoming a faster, more agile way of programming, and it kind of gives you that feel of a bit of a web flow kind of feel to the design process. So you're kind of getting Webflow without getting Webflow. So I'm gonna try it out. And like I said, you look at this, and there's no extra code. So I kind of like that. And again, because I can do my query right within this template, because I can pull data down right from within this template, that removes so many other plugins. And because I can write out, I can write these data sets on the back end, and my robot can talk to WordPress and talk to these custom post types, right? So I can make custom post types with Jet Engine, right? So using Jet Engine, I can create these custom tables inside my database. And they have Gutenberg, so this works directly inside Bricks. Now, because I can create any of these custom post types, dynamic websites, right? I can build my own dynamic websites now, and I can use this to lay everything out. That's it, right? I can now use N8N to automate my backend of all of this and still have speed and control at my disposal. Now, that is the theory. The reason why I'm doing this video today is because starting tomorrow, I start building it out. You saw the server, the domain will change, ToxicHustle will be, the website will come back up with a loading screen again, but this time it will be with WordPress on another server that is specific to WordPress with a template engine that gives WordPress its speed and a template engine that actually allows me to build e-com and shopping, and it's, it has WordPress built in. The only other thing that may end up running into here is Woo Funnels. Is the only other thing that I might actually purchase as well, so that I can build funnels for my system. It makes it easier to create landing pages, right? Abandoned cart tracking, funnel automations, markets, smart segmentation, broadcast emails with drag and drop. So I want to be able to do, I want some of that email stuff without using like using MailChimp. And lead capture with form plugins. So definitely looking at that as part of this. These three seem to be the only three things so far that I'm seemingly going to install. I will be also looking for some type of affiliate system, but that might be external. Affiliate. Yep. So I either will do this affiliate. I might either find an affiliate system that's outside of WordPress. Maybe using one of these. I don't know. I doubt it though. Or I'll look for an affiliate pro. I was trying to see if I could see if there was one of the ones I was looking at. Thirsty affiliates might be one. Yeah, I don't see it. Let me see if there's an article on it. Pretty Links, affiliate WP. That's one. So like all of these are ones that can potentially be, but I mean, I think this is like the number one. Search with Google. I think this is the one I was on. Yep. So use on 3 sites, $1.99 for a year, or $2.99 if you want. I guess what, 10 sites, unlimited. Commissions, lifetime, affiliate. Oh, if I want an affiliate portal, direct link tracking, reoccurring referrals, if I like want all this, then it's $2.99, which would probably be where I would go with that if I did go with that. So that's pretty much the stack. So Kinsta for server, Jet Engine for post types, creating databases inside WordPress, Bricks as my template because it's fast and performant and doesn't put some extra BS inside the code. That'll keep it lean. Woo Funnels to be able to design funnels for the site and to do page tracking and all that stuff. And then potentially some type of an affiliate plugin to be able to scale out the business. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. And I hate it. Like, I hate it. But we're so early. Like, this is the sad shit. We are so early at this low code, no code thing that we're waiting and we'll have to wait for at least another year to reevaluate this shit. So that is pretty much my rant. I guess I ranted the fuck out earlier, but that's pretty my rant. I mean, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating because I don't want to use it, but I know I have no choice, and that's the frustrating thing. It's like you break up. Let's say you break up with somebody, right? And they really don't want to change. They really don't want to grow into anything better. They're kind of like okay being the same old same. They kind of do some cosmetic changes, but it doesn't change the underlying problems that they have, and the underlying problems you have with them when it comes to having a relationship. Then you break up, you go out in the world, you get 100 dates, and you find out all 100 are worse than your ex. Then your ex comes back around, she don't look as bad anymore. But you know there's still problems. That's where I'm at with WordPress. I was like, that was the best way I could explain it to my girl. I was like, this is what I'm dealing with. And she was like, you know what, I get it. But at the same time, I have to build something. So that's what we're doing. But I figure I share that with y'all so that you can at least see the frustrations that building an application without a developer there. Like, again, I can't pay $100,000 to somebody and say, hey man, build this app for me. And no app I build is gonna be under 10 grand, without me paying somebody. So where am I gonna get the cash flow to build the app? I need to be able to generate the cash flow I need to grow the app. It's a cycle of bullshit. What came first, the chicken or the egg type beats? So what I have to do is I have to sit in the shoes of the developer, build the concept, generate the cash flow to then hire a developer to scale out the idea, or low code, no code gets so dope that you don't need to. As our country stagflates out and the business stagflates out and these companies begin to lay people off, and then those people are looking for jobs and they can't find anything that transfers over, I'm wondering whether or not we go from lying flat, quiet quitting, to what they're now doing in China called let it rot, which is basically nothing is going to change. I'm not going to get anything out of life. Let it rot. It's a newer related phrase is banayan or bailan. Pinin bailan literally means let it rot, which means to actively embrace a deteriorating situation rather than trying to turn it around. Rather than me or anyone else trying to turn nothing around, you just let it the hell rot. Well, most people are now, why am I going to get a job? For what? Nobody's hiring. Let it rot. My job isn't going to do nothing for me. I'm just not going to do nothing. Let it rot. But they will let you go. So there has to be a balancement, and the only balance I've ever found, which is still imbalance, is you have to create your own lane. Financially, you have to create your own lane. Like, nobody wants to deal with that shit. Like, hey, maybe being a web developer ain't gonna work, or hey, maybe being a developer ain't gonna work. What happens if you're not programming an AI to write itself? Then you're not gonna have a job in 10 years. As far as web developers. And then we're going into data bits and data packets and the ownership of private data and what that looks like. And, Web 3 in the next 2 to 3 years being more prominent. Which is just, decentralized databases being cheap enough for it to act right. But there's nothing new under the sun coming. Like even if you look at the technology, there's really no new technology coming. Like, yes, we have blockchain. That's an Excel spreadsheet that's connected to everybody. Like that's not new. Blockchain's not really new. It's new in how it's handled, but it's just encapsulating things in algorithms, but it's basically the same thing. We have an expensive database. That's blockchain. It's way too expensive. This price is way too high. They need to cut it. So what's the next technology? Well, for me, automation is the next technology. And I told y'all, N8N is the WordPress of automation. And if you're not learning this software, I don't know what you're going to be doing, because you're going to either need to automate your own business, which you could use the software for, or you'll need to take on clients and automate their businesses, which you can get paid for. So, I mean, I don't know what else anybody else is going to do at this point, because like I said, computers are going to run stuff. And when this stuff is in the cloud, controlling farm bots and controlling wind farms and controlling, like, this is all APIs and everything connects to an API. Like, you'll be able to control vending machines with shit like this. So just get ready, y'all. And I guess that's it. I'm gonna go grab a lunch. So y'all, this week I'll be back later in the week. I'm gonna be programming most of the week to hopefully get the site up through WordPress. Now that's the only way I can go. The only thing I'm gonna do is just see whether or not my speeds stay relatively decent, and that, you know, people have a pleasant experience with the domain. That's really all it is. Like, I don't want people having a bad experience. I don't want people logging in and taking forever for it to load, or none of that. So that's what's going on, y'all. Let me get up out of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Y'all be safe up on these streets.